Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. All right.
Cool.
Welcome to this podcast is Uncalled For.
What's uncalled for about it?
Well, you can't tell anybody this.
I'm listening.
Oh my God, what are you doing? I didn't see the big deal about the human body.
I worship Cthulhu just for the free beer.
Yeah, don't go to Sam's Club either.
But you didn't even give a chance for a wild card spot.
What are we doing at Tijuana?
He was like, what did you just say?
Well, the name of this podcast is Stuff Uncalled For?
This podcast is uncalled for.
Podcast, all right.
Yeah, that was the most ridiculous ending to that game that I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up.
We're looking at each other in the eye. We're not going to say anything derogatory to the other person. And, of course, neither of us is drunk.
So I don't hear Pope Francis saying that he's a prophet, seer, and revelator.
What planet are these people on?
And look, thank you, Black Trump.
See, this is a disgrace.
How'd that happen?
And it's got Chick-fil-A. Hey, we're getting somewhere.
And now, your host for this podcast, Mike Chernevsky.
Fuji!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast, and welcome back to the podcast, George Dean.
Yeah.
All right. Glad to see you're still with us after that COVID scare.
Yeah, and it was weird because it was before anything that actually started going on where people knew what was going on, including myself, and they took me really fast back to an isolation ward, and my wife and I were really confused for like an hour before they started explaining to us there was a virus that they were keeping an eye on. It was late February, early March, so it wasn't really commonly known, and we were kind of off grid a bit at the time in southern Colorado, so we weren't fully up to date on everything that was happening as fast as, you know, maybe I would have been if I'd have been closer up here to Kansas City or been in Denver at the time. But I was in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, it was really intense. It has affected me since I had it. It hasn't. I wake up in coughing fits sometimes I didn't used to have, and I have allergies that I didn't used to have. So it's been a changing experience. But you know, COVID was for everyone in its own way. In every household, it changed everybody. So
Right. Even those of us lucky to have not gotten it. So, and I was out every day during this whole period, you know, doing the DoorDash as I've been discussing, and did get my shots.
you're awesome.
Yeah. And nicest thing, slowly but surely get back to normal. In fact, yesterday was the first day I got to run chess club in person in over a year. So, yeah.
Wow, well, it's back now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, chess is such a beautiful game. I love chess. My uncle Easy used to play with me when I was a kid. You know, the kind of uncle that you never beat, and I really enjoy chess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those games. Yeah, you can play it forever and not know everything. That's me of it, and everyone has their
Right. Did you watch that Queen's Gambit that everyone's talking about? Did you watch Queen's Gambit? I've heard a lot of people talking about that.
I have not had a chance to see Queen's Gambit. I am aware that Kasparov was one of the consultants on that, and you can't get more authoritative on chess than Garry Kasparov or any of these other world chess champions and stuff.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. You know where a great place to meet some of those chess champions is?
Where?
St. Louis.
Really?
Yeah.
I would never guessed that.
Yeah.
They're always known for, you said St. Louis, right? They're always known for baseball and beer, really.
Baseball, and having football teams were left away from them, but that's another point. Yeah, the KC, I was going to say, I was going at my own club at that moment, but the St. Louis Chess Club, they hold regular annual tournaments in non-pandemic times where they have all the grandmasters come and play chess. And I, of course, got a photo with one of those grandmasters a couple of years ago when we took a field trip out there. And
Wow.
Yeah. So
That-
yeah,
I,
I've
you
actually
know,
been in
I
the
have
same
much
room
respect
as
for those guys.
Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura, Vishy Anand, Fabiano Caruana.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a star-studded cast.
Yeah, those are the heavy players right now. Yes.
Yeah, it's such a interesting thing to learn when you're young. I think most people should probably learn to play chess when they're younger, even if they don't enjoy it and play it later. I just think it's essential for analyzing and using cognitive skills you don't necessarily develop when you don't start with games of strategy like that. When you don't start, I think it's important.
Right. And that's the bread and butter of what we do is after school programs. So yeah.
Oh great. That's awesome, man. Like, you're always so busy though. You know, if you're not running for some Senate or mayor spot, you're running clubs, you're making films.
At the time we are recording this, I'm running for city council, not mayor. Yeah, there's a primary in a couple of weeks. I cannot stand the incumbent, which is why I'm running. In fact, I got on the ballot at the last possible second to make sure he did not go unopposed. And then the next day I found out, there are 4 people running for this seat, and I'm just one of them. So.
Yeah, that's such a interesting. I always thought politics was interesting. I would never be a politician. I live with my foot in my mouth. I always get told by the people close to me, you can't say that. And being that I'm 43, you know, I'm out of touch sometimes with everything because it moves so fast now. So I got to be real careful. You know, I've never considered myself a person that would give a person a reason to cancel me. But nowadays, you know, you got to be real careful. And I always put my foot on my mouth. So thank God I got good people that are close to me that help me guide me so I don't end up stepping on the wrong toes or making the wrong mistake, because the world's changing fast nowadays, man.
I know, right? I know. Yeah, you're just a tad older than me. I'm 42, so yeah.
Right. We have basically raised the same way. We went through the same things. The world's a lot different. It's amazing how much the world has changed in 40 years. Like it blows my mind every day. Because I remember the world was kind of the same. It'd be 100 years and you'd see some change, but now 3 years, and I still don't know yet. I own an iPhone, and I promise you, I don't use it to its full potential in any possible way. This expensive device that has all these abilities, and I don't have the ability to even activate them, use them, create, just do what I need to do.
I know exactly where you come from. I have an iPod Touch and an iPad that I still need to fix the glass, but my primary phone is still that flip phone. Yeah.
Well, ever since the pandemic started, what they've had us do is they have us do self auditions. So, my agent and Natalie Lynn in Denver, she sent me to a class, a workshop that lasted 2 days that just taught us how to shoot self-tape auditions, the lighting, how to use the camera. And that was a God saver for me and that's why I had to get an iPhone. I got the iPhone X because it's got the best video shooting capabilities. But I had to go out and get this equipment. So now I'm not only an actor, like now I'm an electrician. Like now I'm the guy running the board and trying to set up the camera and the mic. And I'm like, this is not what I'm good at. I make music and I act. This is not it. Before I left my full-time job to go back into acting and music, I was in HR. So I'm not an engineer in any form or fashion. I consider myself smart and can figure things out, which I had to do, but it was really helpful that we got those classes, but we're still doing that. I wish we'd go back I missed going in the room. That's the last major role I got, which starts shooting in August in LA. I got that before the self-tape auditions, and I didn't really make anything much happen out of all my self-tape auditions. So maybe I was doing them wrong, or I was horrible at it, or it was just, it was the pandemic in general. There's a lot less stuff shooting, but I just can't wait to get back to in-person.
Sure.
I like the camaraderie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the competition in the room. It drives me.
Yeah, that is true, because all those actors are competing for jobs, and I don't think a lot of people understand that it's just like any other job. You know, you have to meet certain criteria to get the job, and if you get the job, great. If not, keep looking.
Right, and there wasn't as much competition last year when I first got there, but Albuquerque, because Netflix is now there, NBC Studios is now there, Paramount's now there. It's getting more stiff out in Albuquerque to get work. It's starting to turn into a little LA. I'm saying it's Santa Fe north there because, you know, Santa Fe is more of a family town. It's about the same size as Lawrence, got about 90,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm comfortable there because I spent a lot of time after college while I went to living in Lawrence. So it's like being home. But the competition is getting crazy over there. So I'm interested to see what it's going to be like when they reopen the doors, when it's in-person auditions all over Albuquerque. I'm really curious. I think I think it's a good thing they're doing it. I think LA shouldn't have the ringleader. You have to live in this state, in this place to do your craft, or you have to do theater and go to New York, or you have to, you know, do drama and go to England. I think, you know, it should be more than one place if you're just the kind of guy like me that just wants to play bad guys and crazy stuff and have fun and act. So I like the fact of doing it, but I think it's going to get really interesting around here. I am in Lawrence though. This week. I'm vacationing here. I know everyone keeps laughing and be like, you have 1 week off and you're spending it in Lawrence. And I'm like, well, I love Lawrence. I was kind of a gypsy growing up, and then you know, all of a sudden I found a place that I liked, going to college here, and I kind of stuck around for a while. So I'd say this is as close to my hometown as I could have, a hometown being raised a gypsy.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, and I'm using a segue here, warn you. This is leading up to the discussion we had last time about a certain guy you went to school with that is from the Kansas City area.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the hat on too. So
had a little something today to show me. So Mr. Jason.
So last time we mentioned both Paul Rudd and Jason Sudeikis, who, like me, are Shawnee Mission West Vikings. Rudd graduated, I think, 87, so it's way before either of us. But Sudeikis, I have my old 1994 Shawnee Mission West yearbook right here. And I'm looking page 136 on the basketball section. We have this little blur, and it has a photo of Mr. Sudeikis right there. I'm just
oh my goodness. Yeah. He looks so young.
He does, yeah. But you can tell that's him. So, senior varsity guard Jason Sudeikis.
What's that underneath? What they write?
This is the basketball section of the yearbook. Believe that the Vikings defense was the key to their successes. Sudeikis said, quote, "Our defense is usually pretty strong. We really emphasize it in practices." And then on the very next page, we have the photo of the entire team. He is standing in the photo. He's standing next to, I don't know how familiar you are with the Lawrence music scene, but there used to be a band called Thulium, later Anything But Joey. Okay, so in the team photo, Sudeikis is standing next to Steve Nick, who at one time was a guitarist in Thulium.
Yeah, there was a big boom of music in Lawrence when I first got here. I came around right after they turned that club that used to get all the grunge bands in called the Outhouse. It used to be a place where grunge bands would travel through. Nirvana played there, Green Day played there. And then right after that is when I arrived. I got in Lawrence in 1999.
Okay, so yeah, it'd be about that time. Yeah. So,
yeah. And I believe I remember the name of that band being on a poster on Mass Street for a show that was coming up at the Jackpot.
Yeah.
So the Jackpot's closed. I didn't know it closed, but I found that out when I drove downtown today. I was surprised.
And everyone in that band is also a West Viking, so not just Steve, but
that's crazy.
Yeah. In fact, their drummer Jeff Polacek, he's in Chicago now, but I've known him since grade school. So, yeah.
Wow.
And also,
I
Yeah.
So you went to, have you lived in Kansas City your whole life? I'm just
pretty
curious.
much. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I mean, I've traveled so much. I can't imagine being somewhere your whole life. It's crazy. But I imagine there's a lot of benefits to it, really established roots and having a lot of meaningful relationships and kinships and stuff. Over the small time I spent in Kansas here in Lawrence, I kind of gained that to a certain degree. So I kind of get the appeal. But all the work for me is out in Albuquerque. Self promo real fast. They've been really good for music for me. My new album just came out last week, and my first music video for the new album came out like 3 days ago or something. And 101.3, The Hustle in Albuquerque, they liked Feathers, a single off it. So we're working together, and then I guess it'll be advertised on what's the Spotify. That's the green one, right? The green emblem. Spotify. So being in that area is great, but I miss Lawrence. I miss the grass and all the beautiful trees, and I'm in the desert out there, man. I can't even go walk around barefoot outside comfortably.
Yeah. I imagine that'd be hard. Yeah.
I miss the grass. Like as soon as I hit Kansas, I went out and stopped at a rest stop, laid in the grass. It was great.
Yeah. Going back to the photo, I'm looking. A couple of other guys have been mentioned on the podcast in this photo. One is Zach Richmond. He was our senior quarterback when I started playing football, and right in front of him is Coach Campbell, whom this particular year I had him for a geometry class. Yeah.
How long has it been since you looked at that yearbook?
It's been a while.
Until recently.
It's been quite a while. So, yeah.
Do they still do yearbooks like at the schools and stuff? I have no idea.
Yeah. I think if I remember correctly, this yearbook, and I still have all four of my high school yearbooks. You paid for it when you paid your dues at the beginning of the year. Yeah. And then it does come out the last day for
What year did you say that was?
This is the 1994 yearbook.
Dang.
Yeah.
I bet yearbooks nowadays are a lot more advanced than we're used to. I don't even think I have a yearbook when I was in school. I haven't had it. Maybe in storage somewhere. Maybe I have somewhere, but you get that box of old books that you put back and you never know what's in it.
Yeah, so true. So, yeah. But of course, both those guys are doing great charity work here in the KC. They're thing, the Big Slick, every year, so, raising a.
What's that?
So they I don't know exactly what they do, but it's a big fundraiser they do every year with other KC area actors to raise money for Children's Mercy.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah, they do get back to Kansas City a lot. I didn't know that.
That thing I mentioned is an annual thing. Yeah. And as I recall, after the Royals won the World Series in 2015, Rudd was like, "Party at my mom's house." Yeah.
Does she still live in the area?
I think she does.
Does Paul Rudd's mom still live in the
area? I wouldn't surprise me if she didn't, but
awesome.
Or if she were still alive, of course. But I don't know the specifics. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, and it's funny though. The person I hear talked about the most that's from the Kansas City area when I'm traveling is Aaron Yates, Tech 9. I met him a few times when I was young. When I first came to town,
Right.
he was some of the people I was visiting with in Kansas City, so I know him somewhat. But he does seem to come up a lot more often than Paul Rudd and Jason Sudeikis. I think a lot of people are surprised when they find out they are from Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I read. Yeah, another one of those actors they do that at Big Slick with is Rob Riggle, and I came across a clip of him fairly recently. It was on the Jimmy Fallon, I think, saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, we found out we grew up very close together. They went to West, boo, but I went to China Mission South. Yeah, yeah." That I think even more so than East. I think South is our biggest rival. So,
Yeah, do they have that? Do the schools have a rival there? That's like football related.
yeah, they're just a. That's our big. That's our big high school rival. I think so. But that's my opinion. I think
KU have that. Have a rivalry with? Isn't the Raiders? I believe.
Yeah, South is China Mission South is the Raiders, and we're the Vikings. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I lived in Lenexa for a little while, so I kind of got to know the area. Had a nice place there. I liked it, but yeah, it's too much for me. Kansas City's pretty big.
Is and that's actually one of the things that's been discussed this and every election cycle really is the subject of affordable housing. Just down the street from me in downtown Overland Park, they recently built a bunch of mini high-rises that are nice to have, but they're luxury apartments. The average citizen can't really afford them, and that's a big problem. If you want to attract
Has anything new
jobs,
popped up in Kansas
then you have a place to live, right?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a real crisis for Lawrence too.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed. I've talked to a few people at the Affordable Housing Commission here about earthen homes that we learned about back in Colorado that we're helping people with.
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't have the supplies out here to make it feasible. So I think they were looking at shipping containers, which isn't a bad idea.
It's a great idea.
But I don't think I think right now Lawrence really hasn't put their hands around what they're going to do yet. I've been a little out of the loop because I'm in Santa Fe now.
Right.
Santa Fe is basically Lawrence. It's just in the desert. They're very similar towns. But have you been to Santa Fe?
I've said this before. I'll say it again. The furthest west I've ever been is San Antonio. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They have the.
But that said, I do support a local soccer team. They go by Santa Fe because the Santa Fe Trail started in the Kansas City area, and you look around KC, there's Santa Fe everywhere, and actually the team got their name from the local towing company, Santa Fe Towing. So, yeah.
That's a interesting origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Santa Fe is not what I expected. I'll say that it's very green and it rains a lot. It's on the side of a mountain. So when I was in Colorado, I ended up in the desert, and I'm like, this isn't what I expected Colorado to be because I was in southern Colorado. Mm-hmm. So I had to go north to see the Colorado that I'd heard was Colorado. Right. But then I get to North New Mexico, and it's what the Colorado was supposed to be that I'd heard of. So it's really a mountain town. It's beautiful, and I actually really like it there. It's my flowers are blooming, and for actors and musicians and stuff, it's best to be in a place where things are booming. There has been some good stuff going on in Kansas City, though. I've been watching Steph Shannon's, the KC Film Commissioner's post. Mm-hmm. So some good stuff's going on here, huh? Up in KC.
Yeah. So
like there was.
Well, I've got a few episodes of this podcast in the Fringe. So. Really? Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's Kansas City never sleeps. A lot of people don't realize it has as much art in it as it does.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And great food.
Yes. Great food.
Best food out in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Great food. I ate this Creole place downtown yesterday and had a fried alligator which is really interesting.
Hmm.
And then today I went and had Mad Greek. They have a lunch buffet, and I love the Mad Greek. They don't have it out there in Santa Fe.
Hmm.
So the food, but
Yeah.
maybe that's why I'm losing so much weight and getting in good shape. It's because I don't have the Midwest food to tempt me all the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, when you think Kansas City and even Johnson County, you think, oh, it's all about the barbecue and everything. But Johnson County, the staple I would think is the taco Villa.
Oh, yeah. They have great Mexican food. It's New Mexico, but yeah, Taco Villa is on its own level. And I miss Noodles and Company. To say, I'm very much being basic, but Noodles and Company is delicious to me.
It is, yeah. I love Noodles and Company.
I love it.
Yeah,
love the Korean spicy beef. It's my favorite. It's delicious.
Yeah, I would think they'd be franchised everywhere, but I guess they haven't made it in New Mexico. So
no, they made it to Albuquerque, but Albuquerque is 50 miles away. So if I'm not going there for an audition or work, it's just not worth the 50 miles.
So Albuquerque is to Santa Fe, what Lawrence is to KC, basically, right?
Yeah, Kansas City, Missouri. You can get to the KC side, Kansas City, Kansas side pretty easy and fast.
Yeah,
but yeah, basically going to KC. But it's a more like a Topeka town. Like it's a little scary sometimes. There's some dangerous things going on in Albuquerque. So I try to stay in Santa Fe as much as possible. I'm not a gangster, so. I'm a historian, a reader, actor. I'm not a gangster, so I don't. I try to be careful.
Yeah.
But and I do hope everyone will take the time to check out. I don't know when it's gonna. I haven't been able to announce it now that the trilogy of sci-fi and fantasy is the new project I have coming up, and I am the main bad guy, as it were. Fighting in the sci-fi flick that's going to be half animated, half live action.
Cool.
So I get to get in a green suit and do all that fun stuff. We're in pre-production starting August 18th. So that's really all the details. The script isn't fully finished because they sent it to this guy in London to rewrite it because they wanted an international feel to it. So that's as much as we have and as much as I'm allowed to talk about right there. Sure. But you can find pretty much everything said online. I'm pretty excited about that. And then my album under Kali Katana, KALIKATANA. It's Pharaoh's Prophecy dropped last week, and the music video's out on YouTube. So it's Feathers by Kali Katana. So I hope everyone checks it out. It was something to do during the pandemic. I was a rapper when I was younger. It was something I did, and I would feature on other people's stuff. But nothing but time in the pandemic, so I sat and wrote music again. It kept me sane, and then decided to release it. My wife actually talked me into releasing it, so I went ahead and released it, and it's doing well. I'm excited about it. But check it out if you like enlightenment hip hop. I think it came out really well, and it gave me something to do. So that was pretty cool. Probably won't do anything like that again for a while because hopefully we don't have a pandemic.
Yeah.
Hopefully these new standard vaccines keep working, so get vaccinated, right?
Yeah, get your shots if you haven't already. Yeah, especially all out there around Springfield, Joplin area.
I heard about that. Please go get your shot. Yeah. It amazes me what I'll watch somebody put in their body, but then they're worried about a government needle. Like I've seen you drink Pabst Light. Like, are you really worried about that needle? Like I've seen some of these people do drugs and party and just feed themselves with McDonald's and all this stuff. But like they're already killing you. If that's what you're worried about. The vaccine's not going to have anything you don't buy at a fast food drive-through window in it already to destroy yourself. So
yeah, exactly. And like I said, I got the Pfizer shots, and each time, get the shot. They make you sit for 15 minutes. Make sure you're not getting adverse effects. But afterwards, I would just feel like for the next day or two, feel a little more tired than usual. That's pretty much the only side effect I noticed was just a little more tired than usual. So.
Yeah, and I looked at the history. I studied history in college, and they did the same crap when vaccines came out in the 1918, and it just shows you that lots changed in 100 years, but some things haven't. I don't know. As a race, we don't like to be told what to do, and we'll just find an excuse to make it a problem sometimes, I think.
That is pretty much the default setting for us Americans. I would say is
Well, I'm here in Lawrence, actually. I'm visiting a friend who unfortunately has cancer. So I wanted to spend a week with her while I can. It's pretty advanced. So, that's what drove me back here. But um, yeah, the rate they took care of, they did well in Lawrence. That's why I was glad when I got here, is that it's they've been in the turquoise for a while. I could relax and come here because Santa Fe's been in the turquoise for a while, and Albuquerque's a hot mess. So like I had to go to Albuquerque for Comic Con. Went and met Mark Paul Goslar, who was Saved by the Bell, Zach Morris, who's in Franklin Bash, and then got to hang out with my friend Michael. He was Michael Bean. He was a big star for a while in the 90s and early 2000s. I played Tombstone. He was Johnny, he was the first Terminator. He's been in the industry, but he's just a joy to talk to. But when I went there, I forgot my mask because I hadn't worn one in so long. I wasn't prepared to go to Albuquerque because the difference was just night and day on how well they handled the pandemic. So we had to drive 50 miles back just to reevaluate how we're going to go, which was horrible. And when I go to the hotel here, sometimes I check into the Courtyard Marriott so I can go in the grass, because in the middle of the Courtyard Marriott here, they have it's like being in Kansas. And they have a pool and a hot tub. It's been open for a while. None of that was open at the Courtyard Marriott, and I paid all the extra money for a Courtyard Marriott so I could have the hotel and all that. None of that was happening. I didn't get to go swimming or hot tub or nothing. Even the gym was closed, so I couldn't work out. And I was not happy. Although Albuquerque's where all the work is, I'm glad I'm in Santa Fe, and I'm glad Lawrence kept up while I'm visiting, so I don't have to worry about it. Have the actors there? Have they gone back to face-to-face auditions? Do you know?
Well, I can tell you that about a month ago they had the first in-person IFC events in over a year, and I was fortunate enough to attend that. We just met outside the Armor screen line there in North Casey, and good times were had by all, and they're getting ready to do the one night stand competition. I think that's this coming weekend.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I take off back for Santa Fe Friday, so got to get back in there. I got that movie coming up, and then I got to go and finish promoting and dealing with the advertising on the album. And it's it's pretty slow pace out there, so you got to learn I'm a fast moving guy. Sometimes I talk too much. I'm high energy. And so it's really slow in Santa Fe. Everyone's no one's in a hurry for anything. I will stand in line at a gas station to get gas for 10 minutes while they just talk. And if you say anything, they look at you like, why are you in a hurry? What's wrong with you? Slow down. So I do appreciate Santa Fe giving me a lesson in stillness and being present. I've had no choice. It's really weird adjusting to, though, because Kansas City moves, and I was working with Moxie Talent was my agent when I was here in Kansas City. Always down there at the bottoms. Love that area. It's just beautiful. In Kansas City, the art district's just amazing. And it's a weird pace change. So it's when I came back to Lawrence, it was like, I can move my normal speed again. Now I have to readjust all over again to the slowness of Santa Fe. And the governor's doing a good job out there. I'll give it to New Mexico on that. And it's nice to be around some of my favorite friends who are actors, like Wes Studi. He's in town, and we're going to, he's waiting till he knows for sure to go out anywhere and do anything. And he's shooting something right now, but we're going to have drinks finally for the first time since I've been out there very soon. And that's going to be awesome because he has so much interesting stories. When you sit down with Wes, he's been around since Last of the Mohicans, Dances with Wolves. He's been a Native American fighting in the acting industry for roles and getting parts and killing it for a long time. So you hear some really cool stories when you get to hang out with guys like that. Met a couple of people. The girl that Adam Sandler does his Thanksgiving every year out there in Santa Fe.
Okay.
Coffee shop they go to downtown. I met Domino from she's from the Deadpool series. She was having coffee at this other coffee shop that I was down in. I was like, I know you. Fink, he plays Mike on Stranger Things. We hooked up while we were down there and we're chatting. So it's a good place to run into other actors and people in the profession as well. But, you know, if I could just pick up Lawrence and just set it in New Mexico, I'd be happy as clams because I just miss this town. But yeah, they've done some interesting, beautiful things here that I haven't seen anywhere else for the pandemic, which I find unique. In Kansas City, on downtown, have they built outside restaurants on the sidewalks in front of the restaurants?
I haven't really ventured downtown, but for the most part, the fast food places, pretty much, it's still you pick up your food and then leave, or whether it's going into the restaurant itself or using the drive-through. But a lot of the restaurants, the sit-down places are in fact open right now. I had an interesting experience. One of my favorite places to go is BD's Mongolian Barbecue right across from Oak Park Mall.
Oh, yeah.
And when I got there just a couple of weeks ago, they usually give you a bowl so you can pick your stuff up to take to the grill. Pre-pandemic, you would stand at the grill waiting for your food, but this time around they gave me a little notepad with a number saying, "Well, this is your number," and it took me that long to. Oh, that's supposed to go with my food, and then they still cook the food on the grill, then they bring it to your table. So, yeah.
So you don't get to watch now.
Yeah, you don't get to watch them doing their thing at the grill now.
That's fun. That's part of the experience, though. That's terrible. That stinks.
It's still good food. It's still good food. Yeah. So
it's a little more fun to watch them do all the fire and all the flipping, and I love that stuff. Culinary artists amaze me.
Yeah, I wonder how the Japanese steakhouses they're the ones that do all the hibachi stuff with the flames and everything. I wonder how. Well, I kind of know how they've been doing the whole delivery thing as well. And I wonder in this pandemic, in this late pandemic time, if they've resumed doing the hibachi with the onion volcanoes and all that stuff. Yeah, that is some sick stuff to watch. I think. So, yeah,
it's such a craft. It's beautiful, and then you get to eat this amazing food after getting that great show. So you can't beat that. Can't beat that. Like I said, I got to get out of here soon, or else I've been in the gym, getting in the right shape for this role I have coming up since last October. And if I don't get out of here soon, I'm going to waste all that work. I barely eat. I snack a lot because I'm at the gym and I'm not moving all the time.
Right.
So out in Santa Fe, it's hot and stuff. I just kind of quit eating a lot. I don't really eat that much. Humans don't have to eat 3 meals a day. That was a lie fed to us a long time ago over trying to prove what was and what wasn't civilized. The human body can survive just fine and not get tired and get everything it needs eating once a day and maybe randomly snacking when you feel hungry, as opposed to scheduling this thing we call meals, and that's not really necessary. It was fake. It was created. It's not a real thing. And there's plenty of research to back that up. And it's I'm not sure what my point was there. But yeah, I just the eating out here is so delicious. So
it is.
I've eaten out 3 times in 2 days, man, and I don't eat out. But they had fried alligator down at this Cajun restaurant. I had to try it. I haven't had fried alligator. It's like they made a fried alligator po' boy sandwich, and it was freaking amazing. And I had to eat the Mad Greek. And then I found out my daughter had never had Rudy's Pizza. And I had to take her to Rudy's Pizza. I was like, you don't know how good their crust is? It's amazing. I'm glad I'm not in Kansas City because there's like 12 places I would want to hit like super fast.
Right.
Because Kansas City, I don't care what anyone says. You want to talk good food, you talk Kansas City. And
yeah.
and I was born in Dallas, and I think Kansas City barbecue is better than Texas barbecue. And I'll say it to all my Texas relatives too. I'm saying it right now on this podcast. Kansas City is the best barbecue in the world. I have to have my barbecue sauce shipped to Santa Fe for my smoker because they don't sell it out there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. May I ask which sauce you use?
Oh God, I can tell you it has a cowboy in the front. I can't tell you what the name of it is, but I recognize the picture when I'm scrolling through the website I have saved on my bookmarks. I kept the bottle until I saved the bookmarks, and I guess the name was never that significant to me. The taste was. And I like to make my own barbecue sauce and mix it with that barbecue sauce. I tomato sauce, all that stuff. I make my own as well with it, but. Yeah, there's some things I have to like. They don't have. I don't drink beer anymore, but I feel sorry for them as far as their beer goes because I got to grow up on Free State beer, Boulevard Wheat out here. You know, my college days, I tried all these amazing beers from St. Louis and local Free State brewery here in Lawrence, and so I had an experience with beer in my 20s, and they don't have any of that out there. It's just the Coors Lights, Bud Lights, all that stuff because they sell it in the gas station. So every time I go in there for gas, the whole cooler full of liquors and beers and alcoholic supplies to keep you happy. I don't really drink that much. I'm in my 40s, so I think most of us just kind of grow out of it or don't, and it becomes a problem. But yeah, I kind of feel so trying to like try different beers. We'd have beer tastings and we'd play like we were beer snobs, even though we weren't. Yeah, it's an experience having the variety that Kansas City and Lawrence had to offer. Is the Power and Light District still popping?
If it is, well, I don't go to Power and Light, so
yeah, it's just one of those places that I hear people talk about when they're not from here or they're in other places. Like when I was in Colorado, they're like, well, I went to Kansas City one time and I went to Power and Light District and it was amazing. Or they saw it when the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. It was kind of advertised to the world on all the news channels. So it's become, as I travel, I've seen that a lot of people bring that up when I ask them, do they know anything about Kansas City or Lawrence? And then Gone Baby Gone, of course, that gets brought up quite often.
Yeah, my biggest problem with Power and Lights, I did try to go a couple of times, but got turned away just because of the way I was dressed.
Yeah, they want to make it look cool or something. I never partied at the Power and Light District. It wasn't my thing. I know it's there. A lot of people talk about it who aren't from there, but it's not my crowd or my scene. I'm a bit of a hipster, and I'm a little older. But when I was younger, I was looking for, the odd places like Henry's Coffee House has a bar above it, so you can go downstairs, drink coffee, play chess, go upstairs, listen to Glass Animals or All J, and have a drink. I like that kind of stuff. As long as there's dancing, that's why I was hoping the replay was still like it was back in the day. When I went by there last night just to listen to the music and maybe dance because I love dancing, and they don't have any dance clubs in Santa Fe. No, the music's not as cool as it used to be. Like 3 or 4 years ago, the last time I danced there, the DJ that was there at the time, he'd mix like 1930s, 40s, and 50s, like Buddy Holly, Earth, Wind and Fire from the 70s with like techno and stuff. And it gave all crowds a chance to really like it. Doesn't matter what age you were, everyone knew the song. It had a cool new beat, so it was modern enough the kids liked it, and it was a lot of fun. It just last night was not the same vibe, but I did end up in a long conversation with 2 biophysicists from KU about quantum theory, string theory, time travel, and what the Marvel universe got wrong. So that was a lot of fun. Got a little physics, a little nerd in there. We standing outside the bar having this debated, heated argument about quantum physics, and people are just kind of looking at us like, "What in the hell?" But it was pretty fun. That part was great, and there was 3 Italian guys that were there that were really interesting. They were very nice, and they were there because their nephew plays soccer for the soccer team out here. And they were really sweet and funny, and taught me this Italian phrase that I couldn't repeat if my life depended on it. Like, I'm in a loud bar, and I caught about half of it, but it meant something about, if you keep people true in your heart, you'll be true to yourself. It was kind of the concept of what he was saying, but it sounded much more beautiful in Italian. Didn't sound like it belonged on a T-shirt or on a light or the way he said it.
Cool.
So how long has the podcast been going now?
Well, season 4. Season 4. This would be about the halfway points of season 4. Yeah.
Amazing, man! Congratulations.
Yeah. And started at now a little over 2 years. So. And I'm defining seasons as 18 episodes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not the 8-season Netflix stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's still the dream though. I think the reason I'm in Santa Fe is I want to just get on like a show on one of the shows on Netflix. I'm tired of traveling. I want to spend some time settled somewhere. I'd like to move out of the RV into a house again. I've been traveling the country in the RV for 3 years now since I quit my full-time job. And I mean, it's worked out well for my career. I'm getting work and stuff, and I'm finding these places. But I'm hoping I can get on something consistent. Kelly Perrine, when I was out in LA, and we were at Warner Brothers set, in between shots, she was working on this Nickelodeon show. We got in this conversation about acting and what kind of world you want to be as an actor. And by the end of the conversation, I realized I just want to be on a show that's consistent, so I can go to get my weekends off to spend with my kids and stuff, and go back and be able to settle down somewhere, not travel so much. That the dreams probably is for me is not to end up in movies or I don't want to be huge. I just character actor on TV, or that way I don't have to worry about it. That's the dream. So maybe out in Albuquerque I can make that happen because they have all the studios there now. And TV, when I think about it as an actor, I think it's funny how acting has evolved in the last 20 years because of the internet and how many channels. When I was a kid, we had 13 channels and they went off at midnight and the American flag went up and that was it. You don't get television until tomorrow. And now there's so many channels and so many shows that if being an actor meant being famous, that doesn't track anymore. Because there are way too many shows and way too many parts and way too many roles for you to be famous enough for most people to recognize you, because everyone's into such different stuff. So I would say that if you're trying to be an actor nowadays, do not do it for fame at all. That's pointless. You're probably not going to be known. That has nothing to do with it. If you're crazy like I am and literally just keep coming back to it and can't do anything else consistently and just eventually, like, I'm an actor. Maybe don't wait as long as I did, but but if you do, then do it for that. But definitely don't do it for fame, because the odds of working as an actor aren't horrible, but the odds of becoming famous as an actor, they're not in your favor at all. Or becoming famous for doing a podcast, or being famous for making music, or anything where you're in the public eye. You're so many people, 7-point-something billion people now. I mean,
yeah.
Whew.
It's a lot of people,
man.
Yeah. I always tell people, if you're going, I tell people the same thing. If you're going to get into the arts, the performing arts, or even a podcast, don't expect to get famous, and don't expect to earn a whole lot, if anything. So, yeah.
Right. I definitely spend a lot of money on my craft. And I definitely am not getting rich off of it yet. A lot of people don't know, with music, there's so much equipment. With acting, the yearly casting, you got to pay for your SAG, you got to pay for headshots, you got to, there's a lot of expenses, all the equipment you use for your podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely not a gold mine in any form or fashion for the majority of artists. So.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Of course, I use Libsyn as my hosting for this podcast, and they do have programs to put ads on your podcast, but you have to meet a certain number of downloads, perhaps. And I ain't even close to that threshold. So.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy to start at all. But if it is what you are and what you do, and there's nothing else that makes you happy, what does money matter? That's not the point. There's plenty of ways to make sure you afford what you need to take care of in other ways. Luckily, I'm getting to the point to where I don't really have to worry about money as much. I grew up very poor, so I ran through my savings getting this all started that I had put back working as an HR director all those years. I made decent money and put some back and had savings, ran through that. I'm just getting back to where, like, I'm feeling more comfortable and things. It takes a while, but that's funny. That makes me think of this guy I met last night. That made me laugh. He was at the bar, and his friends and I were exchanging information about a music video, because I know this producer guy that makes music, and this guy was looking for a beat guy. So we're exchanging information so I can hook them up together. And he's like, well, my friend said you're an actor. And I was like, well, yeah, that's because he asked me what I do. I said, I'm an actor, I'm a musician, that's what I do full time. And, I've never heard of you, you must not be an actor. And it ringed again in my head today as I was looking at this meme that shows that there's a ladder with a bunch of steps that are real close together. And this dude's like halfway up the ladder, and then there's a ladder, 3 steps, and it takes time. I have officially been working full time as an actor and a musician for just barely under 3 years, and one of those years was a pandemic. So I have no expectations after that short amount of time that I'm gonna be huge and fantastical and like some mega star, and nobody should. So if anybody listening has any ideas of wanting to get in the arts, I do know it's gonna take some time. Most people don't break through in the first 5 years. That's just a fact. I've been lucky enough to get roles over the last few years and get parts. I was in one of your productions even, and that was awesome. I was able to make it to the red carpet and be at the Hollywood Awards and win awards for Neosho Falls, which is great. But I've been in 3 series that I got paid for. I shot the pilot and they were never syndicated. So right before we're about to shoot episode 2, the whole thing gets canceled. That's the kind of stuff that happens. You get used to it. It's just the art.
Yeah.
Use stories of his industry and why it's difficult to break through. So,
yeah. Well, of course, nowadays with YouTube, you can, if you can't find a network to host your series, just start a YouTube channel, put it on YouTube, let everyone see it. Let everyone see it anyway. Yeah. That's a way to get out there.
I mean, I miss the pureness of before YouTube. I miss the pureness of having to go to somebody who's qualified at directing, writing, making scripts, and then making a production and earning your spot on that. Proving to them that you can perform. Because I'm classically trained. I went to college for 7 years, and I had a full theater ride scholarship. I did 2 Shakespeare in the Parks, Taming the Shrew, and The Tempest. And so I'm classically trained, theater trained, and so there's a bit of pride in there for me. I earned that. I worked hard. I went to all those auditions. I sat in all those classes. I spent a lot of time studying my craft before I went to work, and then ended up doing commercials for a while and wasting all the work I'd done, but that's not even kind of necessary anymore. And you can just look right, because like the latest role I have, I don't even know if they saw any of my work before they just decided I looked exactly what they wanted the main bad guy to look like. And so of course I'm going to take the role. It's a great opportunity, and I've read the character. It's something I can bite my teeth into and I'd be good at. But at the same time, it just reminds me, it's really luck. It's staying at it and being available. Like, just, you have to have your headshots ready. You have to have everything ready and available. Like you in the podcast, I'm sure there's plenty of times where you're like, oh, why am I doing this? No one cares. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. We go through that in our head as artists. But you got to keep going. Now you're in season 4. Now you have a listener base. Now your podcast is just solidified. But there was a first time you sat down and said, oh, I'm going to do a podcast. And you had to create over time with hard work the density under your project that's now blooming. It's like that, and being available is really a big part of it. As long as you keep interesting people to interview and you keep having content that people are interested in, you'll keep going. And that's for any artist, podcast, acting.
A little bit of everything, yes. And I'm never, and there are a lot of people still that I've approached about doing the podcast. Still have not gotten them scheduled, but hopefully that changes soon. And Yeah, all the interviews I've done so far, I think have been interesting in their own little ways. I think there's one this coming that during this particular season interviewed the dude from overseas, and that was pretty cool. So,
Oh,
yeah.
how many episodes do you have left this season that you have to shoot?
So after I'm done with you, I'll be at 8 more that I need to do for this particular season, and of those, I have a couple that I can throw together real quick and publish those. So yeah, we're at the halfway points of season 4, and then can start work on season 5 and just keep on going from there. So, but yeah, it is tough to interview people in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
No question about it. So,
yeah. I can't remember. Was I in season 1 or season 2 the last time I was on?
You are near the end of season 2.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it was really interesting being on a podcast, because yours was the first one. I've done a lot since you.
Yeah, cool.
But yours was the first one I'd never done. I hadn't done a podcast before. So I had to go online and do a lot of research on what the hell's a podcast. Like I was completely out of that world. And now it's literally on the list of things that they say. I was in this workshop, and it was like number 7 is, get everything out, get on podcast, create a podcast, be a part of a podcast. But it's a necessity now in my industry that didn't exist not that long.
Yeah, it's still a fairly new thing. Yeah. And but the number of podcasts out there, it's just continues to explode, and there's literally podcasts on everything. So, still with me? Oh crap.